Welcome to Health AI Insights, where we dive into the transformative world of artificial intelligence in healthcare. I'm Lily Body, your guide through this fascinating journey at the intersection of technology and medicine. Imagine a future where AI predicts illness before they strike, where your medical records are instantly accessible and securely stored, and where personalized treatment plans are crafted just for you. That future is happening now, and right here at the University of Texas at Austin, we are on the forefront of this revolution. Each week, we'll bring you in-depth interviews with leading experts, groundbreaking research, and real-world applications of AI in healthcare. Whether you're a tech enthusiast, a healthcare professional, or just curious about the future of medicine, this podcast is your go-to source for all things AI in health. So get ready to be inspired, informed, and amazed. This is Health AI Insights, where the future of healthcare is unfolding today. Today I'm here with Jon Tamir. Jon, could you please introduce yourself and share a bit about your background in AI and healthcare?
Sure. So my name's Jon. I'm an assistant professor in the Chandra Family Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering at UT Austin. I also have appointments in the Dell Medical School and the Odin Institute. And my research is in magnetic resonance imaging with artificial intelligence. So my goal is to make MRI a faster imaging modality using the help of data-driven methods, but in a more principled way, with the goal of translating it into the hospital.
Kind of
Sure.
along those lines, could you tell us one exciting project you are currently working on?
Sure. Yeah, one project I'm really excited about with Dell Medical School is imaging patients with stroke. So typically when someone comes into the emergency department with a suspicion of stroke, they'll get a CT scan to evaluate. And the reason for that is because time to treatment is really critical and CT is really fast, but CT also uses ionizing radiation, so it's not really a safe imaging modality. But at Dell Med, they're trying to use MRI instead of CT. And MRI is safe, it doesn't use ionizing radiation, but it's notoriously slow. And because of that, it's very difficult to keep the patients still. And so you have this safe imaging method that has some drawbacks, and we're trying to make it fast enough, robust enough that it can be used as a first line of defense in evaluating stroke. And so I'm really excited about this project because it's the kind of thing that AI has a big role to play in and really has some tangible benefits to the patient.
Yes. So how'd you get involved in this project?
I got involved through my collaboration with the neurology department at Dell Medical School with a couple of neurologists there. They're really interested in pushing the boundaries of what's possible with their own practices. And they saw that UT main campus has a really strong AI arm, especially in AI and health, and they contacted me to try to start this type of collaboration.
Yes. So do you foresee any challenges in deploying this into the medical field?
That's a great question, and I think actually that's super important. I think what makes AI in health special compared to, say, AI for art or general consumer use is that the results we come up with actually impact clinical care. And so we have to be really confident that they're correct. And so that's an ongoing challenge is how do we verify the validity or the essentially the reliability of these algorithms. And so that's one challenge. Another challenge is that when we do development in engineering, we typically do it on healthy subjects like students or other volunteers. And they're not quite the same as patients that are getting scanned. And so translating this into the hospital, that's another barrier that we have to overcome is actual experiments on patients and validating that those results are reliable, as I said.
What role do you think explainability in AI models will play, particularly in areas like medical imaging, where clinicians rely heavily on accurate diagnosis?
Great question. I think that the place it'll play is in essentially validating the solutions. So I don't think that AI is going to replace the clinician, but I think that these AI-assisted tools will help the clinician make more informed decisions. We'll still rely on their domain expertise. And so if we can develop AI tools that also have some sense of their own confidence and their own, either through explainable methods or by providing various measures of uncertainty, then the clinician can use that information with their own expertise to better make clinical decision making.
How will you all convince clinicians that are maybe weary about artificial intelligence to integrate this in their practice and allow them to have some trust with this?
Good question. I think like a lot of the methods coming out, even before the big thrust into AI-driven methods, the most important thing is what we call clinical validation or external validation. When you get a medical intervention, it was FDA approved, and that required lots of different types of evidence to show that the efficacy of this method is reliable. And so we're still going to do the same thing. We're not going to push these AI methods so far that they are generating something unreliable. We're going to use them in a way that has been validated and vetted through clinical validation. And ideally, this will get actually adopted either by vendors of manufacturers or other companies, or even the hospitals directly with the mark of FDA approval so that it will have the sort of trustworthiness stamp that clinicians will be able to use.
Yes. So have you had any experience with approving artificial intelligence through the CDC yet?
Through the FDA?
Or FDA, so sorry. Yes.
Yeah. Um, so I personally have not done that in an academic setting. That's typically a setting that goes one step after showing sort of research proven methods, right? So our typical place is to run this in the hospital in a research setting with institutional review board or IRB approval. This lets us do things without FDA approval, but this gives preliminary data that can be used for FDA approval. And I have worked at a startup that actually focuses on using AI with medical imaging, and they have gone through the next step of getting FDA approval, and they actually have products on the market. So there is a path to FDA. I think it starts in the academic setting through this partnership with engineering and the medical school.
Okay, so we've kind of talked about your research a little bit. What first sparked your interest in medical imaging?
I first got interested in medical imaging when I started my PhD. My advisor, Mickey Lustig, was very excited about this field and showed me some of the things you can do. And I think seeing the result as an image is really compelling, right? A lot of engineering is not so much pencil and paper, but maybe you're looking at code and you don't really see what the result is, except for some kind of error metric, and you want the error to go down. But with medical imaging, the result is in your face. You get to see it, and it's really quite amazing. And then I think the societal impact was really captivating for me too, right? It's like, oh, the things I'm doing, they can actually go and be used to help patients' lives. I was really excited by that.
Yes. So have you had any experience utilizing this with doctors yet and like seeing their reactions to using this technology?
Yeah, a little bit. We're still in the early stages. We're not trying to push things too far, but we are already imaging patients with stroke at Del Med, and we're essentially speeding up the scan by a factor of two. So normally the MRI scan might take 10 minutes, and we're trying to do it in 5 minutes. And we essentially fill in the missing information using these principled AI methods that have knowledge of the imaging physics plus um, machine learning algorithms. And it's quite remarkable for clinicians to see that the results are what we call non-inferior, which is a good thing, right? They're just as good as the standard of care. And so they've been very impressed with our early results. They keep asking us, can you push it further? Can you push it further? Right? They're also on the bleeding edge, but we're actually the conservative side here. Even though the methods we use maybe seem quite advanced, we don't want to push them too far.
I totally understand that. Looking forward, where do you see the next big innovations in AI-driven medical imaging?
I think that what makes AI in medical imaging special is that it's not just a tool that you use after you get the image for interpretation, but it's also a tool that you can use to determine how you collect the data in the first place that then goes on to form the image. So AI in the medical imaging space has potential impact all the way from the beginning of data acquisition to the end of clinical interpretation and diagnosis. And so I'm really excited to see this whole diagnostic imaging chain being optimized and improved with the help of AI at all of these different places, but in a sort of joint optimization that accounts for all of the different components holistically.
That's amazing. Okay, so then one last question for you today. What advice do you have for aspiring engineers and researchers who want to make an impact in healthcare and artificial intelligence?
I would say the first thing is make sure you have a strong foundation in the principles. So making sure that you really are understanding what the algorithms are doing. I think one of the risks is just trying to apply these things out of the box without having a strong domain knowledge of what actually it's doing. So that's my first piece of advice is make sure you know the fundamentals and you're using these in principled ways. And that will also allow you to get creative when you see new methods and also see the drawbacks of methods coming out when they're not used in the best way so that you can improve on it. I think the second most important thing is to actually talk to the clinicians to make sure that you're solving a problem that really exists. When we're talking with the medical space, it's very easy for engineers to look at it and say, oh, here's some inefficiency. Why don't we go fix it? But there might be a reason that things are done that way that makes it not really the best solution. And that's because engineers may lack the domain expertise on the medical side. And so that's why this interdisciplinary approach is really important.
Yes, I totally understand that. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to record this podcast episode with me today, Jon.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to Health AI Insights. We hope you found today's episode enlightening. Stay connected with us for more deep dives into the world of AI and healthcare. Be sure to check out Jon Tamir's team website linked below. Also, make sure to check out the UT Austin AI Health Lab, which also I will link below. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platform. Until next time, keep exploring the future of health and technology.